What's up, guys? It's your boy X back to you again with another video today. Today we're going to be talking about how much a tattoo costs. And the way that we'll talk about how they're priced is based off of 3 different ways that a tattoo artist typically prices their tattoos. The first one will be the flat rate charge. The second one that we'll talk about will be the hourly charge. And then the last one that we'll talk about will be the day rate charge. So let's get into this content. Alright, so let's talk about the different factors that go into pricing a tattoo. The first one we'll start off with is the flat rate charge. A flat rate charge is based off of, well, it's essentially self-explanatory, first of all. Flat rate charge is a flat rate. An artist is going to give you a specific price quote for the tattoo, and that price quote comes to you based off of the size, the amount of detail that goes into the piece, the placement, if it's color or black and gray, and generally how long the tattoo artist thinks it's going to take. And there are pros and cons to that. I'd probably say that as far as cons go, it's kind of an arbitrary price calculation that's loosely drawn up in the artist's head based off of their own personal experience tattooing subject matter of similar size and quality to whatever it is that you're looking to get done. Now, that can hurt them if they undershot it and they thought it was going to take less time than it actually ended up taking, which means as a client, it's a pro for you because you're saving money, but for them, they kind of shot themselves in the foot because they didn't price the tattoo properly based on how long it actually ended up taking. But on the flip side, a pro to that could also be, a flat rate bottom rate charge to, a small tattoo that an artist can bang out pretty quickly. And if they can do a decent amount of those and, in a day, they can, have a pretty profitable day. So flat rate does work well. It's not, I wouldn't say it's ideal for every situation, but generally the way I like to approach a flat rate tattoo is if it takes me under an hour to complete it, then I'll generally flat rate the tattoo. That way, I feel like I'm being properly compensated for the tattoo that I'm doing, as well as, not overcharging a client. 'Cause my hourly rate, which we'll get into later, is, a little over around 150 an hour range. So the reason why I say a flat rate is because if it's going to take me less than that, I'm typically probably going to charge anything under my hourly charge. So for the tattoo, but there's also shop minimums that come into play. And if you guys want to know more about the shop minimums, I'll post it up here in the corner or up here in the corner, one of those. You guys can check out that video. But essentially, the flat rate for me personally, it doesn't go below my shop minimum and it doesn't go above my hourly charge. But I mean, if you wanted to price smaller or medium size tattoos out with the flat rate, you totally could. It really just depends on how accurate, your time to work ratio is to make sure that you're getting enough work done in the amount of time. That way you're still having a profitable day as an artist and you're not shooting yourself in the foot. Vice versa, you don't want to be overcharging as well if it's a flat rate. Like if it's, say a palm sized tattoo and they're asking for $2,000 and it's traditional, probably something that's probably only going to take like 2-3 hours, you're getting overcharged. So, I mean, you have to use some common sense when it comes to dealing with somebody who is giving you a price quote on something. If it doesn't smell right, it's probably not right. So that's pretty much all I have to say about the flat rate. So let's move forward and talk about the hourly charge. Personally, this is my typical, everyday method of charging clients because, one, I feel like it is the most consistent way, to make sure you're being compensated, to make sure the pricing is fair. You're not throwing out random numbers. The numbers will always be what they are. And it essentially, the tattoo costs as much, as long as it takes you to do it, is how much the tattoo is going to cost. So if you're getting like a black and gray lion portrait, for example, and it takes, I quote, somewhere around 6 to 8 hours for the tattoo, then you have a very fair idea of how much you're going to be paying for that tattoo, versus a flat rate charge. You're not necessarily sure, and who knows, some people might be inclined, it's unethical, but they might be inclined to be like, oh well, this is going to cost more now because it took more than I expected, blah 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 blah, instead of just being upfront from the start, saying this is how much my hourly rate is, this is how much I'm going to charge for the piece, and go from there. What determines an hourly rate is probably what we should discuss next, because those vary as well from artist to artist. And I'd probably say the number one factor that determines a particular artist's hourly rate would be their personal experience and skill level. So, and that would mean like how many years they've been tattooing, as well as within that time frame of tattooing, how good have they gotten, what levels do they have. Also, things that come into play are what kind of credentials do you have as an artist. Have you done any public shows? Have you had any awards at conventions? Things of that nature to boost your credibility as a tattoo artist. That can go into how much an artist is going to charge hourly, because I'd say like, at least where I live in Arizona, the general price for what a tattoo artist will charge hourly around here, if they're of a decent quality level or high level, is probably around $150 an hour. Versus like a rock star tattoo artist, that hourly could be double that, somewhere $300 an hour, $400 an hour, $500 an hour. It really just depends. But at that point, you're paying more for the high quality tattoo, as well as the specific person that's tattooing you. It would be like the equivalent of buying a backpack from Walmart, or versus going into Gucci and getting a Gucci backpack. You're going in Gucci because it's a Gucci backpack. So that's essentially what you're paying for. You're paying for that higher quality, higher end product, which in this case would be the rock star tattoo artist that has that amazing work that is one of a kind that no one else can do. So in that case, that would be totally fair to pony up that cash for that hourly rate that they're asking for. So the next factor and the last factor that we'll talk about when it comes to how much tattoos cost would be the day rate. So a day rate charge is something that artists will use when they're typically looking to make a certain amount of money throughout the day. It's also a way to make sure that, or to sometimes help out a client, make sure that they're getting a good deal on a price too, and everyone walks away happy. Artist walks away with a decent amount of money, client walks away with a decent tattoo. Also, it helps to make sure that work is getting done faster. So let me break it down. Let me run it back. So day rate charge essentially works like this. You get to the shop either before open or at open, and then from open to close, there will be nonstop tattooing. If you tap out, that's on you, and you've essentially paid your day rate for the duration of the day, either if you make it or not. So that's pretty much how it works. You tattoo from open to close. If you tap out, you tap out. So that can help, because that'll help push a client who otherwise might have tapped out earlier on because they were doing hourly charge, and they figured, I can come back in another month after it's healed up, versus, oh shit, I just spent $2,000 on this tattoo, and if I get up right now, then I've lost that money. So it helps to get more work out faster, help the artist produce more work in a short amount of time. Also, like I said, there can be situations where a day rate can save a client money. Like if a tattoo artist lowers their day rate slightly lower than what a full day of their hourly would be, that could save somebody money. So say like a typical hourly charge for a full day would be come out to somewhere around $1,300 to $1,500. But if they charge a day rate of $1,000 to $1,200, something like that, the client is ultimately saving, a good $500, a good $300, and that gives them a little bit more incentive to get tattooed by that tattoo artist. So those factors can make it a little bit more appealing to go with the day rate charge. Personally, I like to stick to primarily the hourly charge. The day rate charge is also something that I've used in the past, and I do like it as well for clients that want to get large amounts of work in short amount of time. That is always a good option to go with. So that's pretty much it on that video. So I hope you guys like this. If you did, drop a like, leave a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for future content from me. See you guys in the next one.